What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer. Now, listen, I spent some time with Apple's latest Mac products, the new MacBook Air, that MacBook Pro, and the Mac Mini. And I've got some thoughts, you guys. And if you're on the market for a new MacBook or something, now's a really good time to check them out because, woo, Apple has done some crazy stuff with these. Now, everybody's been hearing about this M1 chip. That's the new chip that Apple has put inside of these machines that makes them just so much better than previous models. Now, listen to me, guys. This isn't some slight spec bump like that you just see in the next year, like we always see with phones and whatnot, where it gets slightly better. No. These are different. It completely changes the game when it comes to the Mac world. So I'm talking about being able to do way more stuff on things like a MacBook Air, which is not a powerhouse or was never a powerhouse previously. Now this thing can do some crazy stuff. We're also getting way better battery life. Listen, we'll talk about the specific benefits of M1 in a second, but just know the game has been changed. Now, for the most part, these are pretty similar devices compared to like even last year's or the last generation, but they perform very differently. And if you're trying to pick between the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro, now because they have similar specs in terms of the fact that they have the M1 chip inside of both of them, the main difference is you'll get some Pro benefits here on the MacBook Pro. That's why it's got the name, duh. You do get some Pro benefits here. You get a brighter screen, you get studio microphones that sound really good, you get the touch bar that's right here, and you also get fans. So the fans are there to help the system stay cool and do, you know, Pro stuff a bit longer than the MacBook Air. And that's something crazy though. The MacBook Air has no fans. So just like when you're using a tablet or your phone, you don't have fans in those. They run smoothly, quietly. It's just a nice overall experience. And you get the exact same thing here with the MacBook Air. Even if you're really pushing this thing, you don't have to worry about any crazy fans kicking up, and it does a really good job at maintaining performance for a long time, which is awesome. So overall, those are like the main differences in terms of like the bodies between the Air and the Pro. One thing though, this is the body of the base model Pro. It doesn't have 4 of these Thunderbolt ports, it only has 2. I would have liked to have all 4 here, but this is technically the base model. It's kind of insane. When I say base model, that's like the cheapest version of these products, and they're still capable of doing some insanely good stuff. And we can't forget about the Mac Mini over here. This is actually the most inexpensive Mac you can get. I know a lot of people aren't really familiar with the Mac Mini and what it brings to the table. You can think of it as Apple's tower. So you can connect this to a monitor. It doesn't come with anything but the system itself, so you have to bring your own keyboard, bring your own mouse, bring your own monitor. But once you connect those to it, you've got full-blown Mac OS running on your whatever monitor you bring to it. It actually has the same specs as these guys. It has the M1 chip. It has the cooling system so that it can, you know, run as long as possible and give the best performance that the M1 can get. But it's cheaper because, you know, you gotta bring your own stuff. Now, what's the big deal about this M1 chip? How does it impact the folks actually buying it, right? Like me and you, like Jay. If we buy these new MacBooks, what's gonna be different, right? Well, these are way more power efficient. So even if you're doing something crazy on them, like, I don't know, video editing, photo editing, your web browsing all crazy, it's going to be able to handle that a lot better than previous versions, and it won't take up as much battery. So that is the big thing here, the biggest thing. The battery life here has been increased so much. And that's actually another key difference with the MacBook Pro. It has better battery life than the Air, but they both have really long battery life now, which is just, it's crazy, you guys. Now, the way everybody uses a computer is going to be different, so it's hard to give exact numbers, but I will say this though, I've gotten the best battery life I've ever experienced on a laptop with these two guys. It's so reassuring to be able to use a computer, do a bunch of stuff on it, and not worry about it dying on you by the end of the day. You can go a couple of days without even charging these guys. That's next level stuff. I'm used to having a laptop that you gotta plug it in at night if you wanna use it the next day. That's not a concern here. And that is something that impacts everybody. So whether you just web browsing, you're gonna do video editing, you're gonna play games on it, whatever it may be, everybody benefits from much longer battery life. That's what we want from any device that we purchase. Now, because we've got better battery life, doesn't mean we're working with weaker laptops over here, guys. That's not the case at all. These are actually extremely powerful, even though we're looking at the base models over here, you guys. So I've got a MacBook over here. This is my MacBook Pro. This is the 16-inch model. This is decked out. This is like a $5,000 laptop right here. This is what I use to work, you know, edit videos on the go. This thing is so important to me and I need these specs, right? But let me tell you guys, we ran some tests and whew. So Jay and I fired up Final Cut Pro. That's what we use to do our videos. And we took a project, we put it on all the different machines, and we exported it. Now, these are some really heavy projects. I think it was like 13 minutes long, 4K footage. We even had some red footage in there, which is like really heavy stuff. So we put my very expensive MacBook Pro against the MacBook Air and the smaller MacBook Pro, which costs thousands and thousands of dollars less. This one's like $1,000. That one is like $1,200. So we exported our very demanding video on all of the machines at the same time. Now, the MacBook Pro 16-inch finished in 22 minutes and 4 seconds, which actually tied with the MacBook Pro 13-inch, you guys. They finished at the exact same time, which was mind-blowing to me. And this one came very shortly after at 22 minutes and 26 seconds. So a 2-minute and 22-second difference between the two of them, and I was floored. Completely floored that this could even be possible. So the export speeds were really impressive, and honestly, playback overall, just like going through the editing process, playing back some of that footage, super smooth. And that's crazy for both of these new MacBooks because a MacBook Air, video editing? I'd never believe it.
Never heard of it.
Exactly. Sure, you could do it, but would you enjoy your process? You probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be able to handle 4K, especially the 4K footage that we threw on here. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be a good experience, but you're able to do that on this now, which is nuts. So from a performance perspective, these have been great. And if you have any questions about not being able to run certain programs because these are using new chips, don't worry. Even if you're using a program that's not Apple-based like Adobe, Jay actually threw some Adobe work at these machines, and it's actually a pretty smooth process too. So one of the most impressive things about the M1 chip is being able to take like a MacBook Air that we've got Jay working on over here to do some professional work, because right now Jay's working on some thumbnails. He's using Adobe After Effects, which actually isn't optimized for the M1. But Jay, how's it feeling right now though?
Just like work on the iMac Pro.
Just the same thing?
I would say so, especially because we shoot videos for the thumbnail and
Right.
we take a frame from the video and we import the video to the Final Cut Pro first. And the playback for the 8K is impressive.
Really?
I mean, it's still on the better performance, but like, this is because we shoot on the 4 frames per second, so it's like fast forward, but it's, you can see the playback.
That is actually really impressive, guys. As somebody who has to give recommendations all the time for this kind of thing, people always ask me, what laptop do I get? I'm trying to get into photography or whatever. Now that this exists, it's a really clear answer if they tell me they have like $1,000 budget. A MacBook Air for that kind of stuff, it's pretty mind-blowing. Look at Jay. Look at him making them crispy thumbnails. Look at this. Good job, Jay. Now, because Apple is the one who created these new M1 chips, all of their programs benefit from running faster, opening faster. It's just a smoother process. Like if we were to open up something like Final Cut Pro, which is our editing app, look how fast it opens. Boom, you're already in there. Now let me show you that on our iMac Pro, which is a really beefy machine. If I were to just open up Final Cut Pro here, you see that? And it's still loading stuff up. Now, normally, I was fine with this. Like, you know, you just wait around for a couple of seconds for your apps to open. But this spoils you. To be able to just close this, and then within a matter of, what, 2 seconds, you got your app back open? Come on, that's nuts. And of course, this works across all the other apps that Apple has. So if you use Pages or you use Numbers, those kind of apps, they all open very quickly. I mean, these even have instant on. So if you turn off the Mac or you just close it, you're ready to pop back. Like, come on. You would think that this didn't even close. Like, you think it's on while I have the lid closed. And if you're big on video calls like FaceTime or maybe Zoom, whatever it may be, these have Apple's image signal processor, which has actually increased the quality that you get out of these. So you'll get better quality. It's the same overall camera. So it's not like a huge, it's not an upgrade at all, but the software does make the quality that you get out of those video calls a bit better. So these are just flat out better products. And I am very happy for the folks who need to get their hands on new systems. Like I said before, it's gonna be so easy for me to recommend these now, especially with that price point to performance ratio, with the battery life. These are just overall a great value for the consumer. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference? Which ones should you get since they all perform so well? Well, like I said, if you wanna have a desktop setup at home or something, you go for the Mac Mini, that's easy. But when it comes to the Air versus the MacBook Pro, you get slightly better performance on the MacBook Pro, as I mentioned before, but you also get some of those Pro features. And if you plan on, you know, doing video work or anything that's really intensive, you want to do that for a longer period of time where those fans might play a part. I didn't even mention the fact that those fans never kicked up the whole time it was exporting the video. The second we started the export on the MacBook Pro 16-inch, that thing was screaming. It was the whole time. But the 13-inch MacBook Pro didn't hear a peep out of it the whole 20-some minutes that it was running and exporting. That's usually when those fans would want to kick up, but the M1 chip is so power efficient. It's like, nah, I got this. It's cool, don't worry. Yeah, if you wanted to work even longer, that's when those fans would kick in. Honestly, you'd have to do some real serious, either way, if you're a professional and you need some of those pro features, the name stands out even more. If you are just a regular person who wants the ability to do some of that professional work, boom. Even if you don't, listen, let's take the professional stuff completely out of the picture. You are gonna benefit so much from these computers just off of the battery life alone and the speed improvements from the applications. It's very easy to recommend, and remember, average consumer is not about the budget, it's about the I'm not gonna do it here. If you are someone who eventually might wanna do professional work, or I don't know, you wanna start doing YouTube or something, you could get an Air and get by with no problem. So, I think that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Do I recommend these? Absolutely. Some people will say, oh, wait a year because these are the first versions of these machines. But that has nothing to do with the performance that we're seeing right now. The performance we're seeing right now is great, you guys. So yes, you could wait till next year, but you can do that for literally all pieces of tech. You can always wait for the next one because the next one will be better. That's how tech works. What matters is, do they perform well now? And they do. I can safely recommend them. I absolutely say go for it if you're picking up a new MacBook. I personally think the Air would be a great gift. It's $1,000, but if you know someone who needs a new computer, they're looking at the Macs, portability, performance, battery life, Apple killed it. Apple killed it, and I'm happy for end users. That's the video, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be the cool guy or girl that gives this video a thumbs up. Buy the new MacBooks if you need one. They're really good. Till next time, guys. Peace.
Toss that one?
The screen's big. The screen is bigger. I like that still, so. But it's so quiet.